Hey guys, He's here back with another Veracity video. So Veracity actually 2 days ago closed right at the trend line, and then we ended up getting another bounce. And so typical behavior is what we were expecting, that the trend line would hold. So far it's holding. Right now we're sitting at 0.0052. And I think that the only thing that scares me right now with Veracity and the bottom of this parallel channel is if Bitcoin does continue selling off a little bit lower. We're currently sitting at 40K for Bitcoin, but if it goes to like 35 or 36, which I do think there's a good chance because that's around where the bull market support band is, then that's another like 10% drop for Bitcoin, and I don't see how Veracity would not fall at least 10%. I think there is potential that it doesn't because the Bitcoin pair, I'm going to look at the Bitcoin pair in a sec, but I think that it probably would, at least follow Bitcoin for another 10%. And we're actually only sitting at around 5%, maybe 6% away from the bottom of the parallel channel right now. So a 10% drop would actually take us below it. It wouldn't be much below it, but it would be below it. And it would actually be, breaking the trend line, which has been holding since 2020. And I think that if Bitcoin does sell off, then Veracity's probably going to sell off a little bit harder. And the levels that I think that we should look out for, if we do break this trend line, I think there's two levels really. It's really at around 0.0045 and at the September low at 0.0037. So those are the two levels I'm really looking at if Veracity does sell off, if Bitcoin sells off really. But it's not like too bad from where we are now. It would be like a 15% drop and a 29% drop. So I guess it would hurt a little bit temporarily, but I do think that Veracity would recover, and we're getting pretty close to the halving, and this is an election year, so I have a feeling that the politicians and everyone, they're not going to let the US economy like be in complete shambles, right, during an election year, like while we're electing the president. They definitely are gonna like at least artificially make the economy like look really strong and stuff. And that's all we really need. Like we just need that, and it's probably go time for these coins like Veracity. So if we do dip a little bit farther and we do lose the parallel channel, then I do think will recover pretty quickly. I don't even think it would be down there for that long. And I'm only saying like we're gonna lose this if Bitcoin like tanks. Like if Bitcoin doesn't tank like super hard like really quickly, like even if Bitcoin only like slowly grinds down, I think Veracity's gonna hold this. But if Bitcoin like tanks like really quickly, like another 10-15%, then yeah, I think Veracity's probably gonna lose the bottom of this channel. But yeah, so far we've been holding it, and it actually kind of looks like now that we're kind of in some sort of ascending triangle. You can kind of see the bottom of the triangle being the bottom of the parallel channel, and then the top of the triangle being at around this box right here. And an ascending triangle, I think there's a good chance that we could actually break out of it to the upside, which would be really nice. I don't exactly know, we're probably not going to like go like this, but if we just hover inside here for a bit, even if we just grind the bottom of this parallel channel, I think that'd be totally fine if we're just grinding it slowly, and then we can get a move up. I think that's completely fine. So in my opinion, Veracity is actually still looking really good. I know it just dropped like a good amount since December. I think it dropped around 50% to this wick right here. We actually haven't taken out the wick back in the beginning of the month, but yeah, around 49% that we've dropped. We're currently sitting at around 43% from the top of December. So kind of a significant drop. I think that it could be enough. I mean, it basically halved in price pretty quickly in only a few weeks. And it's really only because of Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin's just been kind of weak since the ETF news and stuff, like since the ETF dropped and like sell the news or whatever. But I think that Veracity is actually looking pretty strong. We're still just slowly grinding up. I mean, a year ago we were down here. Like this was literally a year ago, like a year and like 3 weeks ago. We're up 145%, almost 150% still from a year ago. So it's still not too bad. And I think that if we do lose it, it would hurt temporarily, but I think that accumulating at these two levels, if we do come down here, would probably be a good idea because I think that Veracity has a pretty good future. It looks really good in the chart still, and we're actually getting really close. Like, time is moving so fast, so I mean, we'll have to wait a little bit longer for the real bull market, but it's gonna come up pretty quickly. It's this year, guys. Like, I mean, it's gonna really explode in 2025 probably, but we're still gonna get some pretty nice moves. I think in 2024. Um, so yeah, guys, this a quick update on Veracity. Oh, I want to talk about the Bitcoin pair. I almost forgot. So the Bitcoin pair actually did break down from this pattern, and I'm gonna get rid of this box here. But the thing is, guys, like we only broke down briefly from it, and what I think would be interesting is that if we are right here, we broke down briefly from it. What I think would be really interesting is if Veracity actually spikes up. This is against Bitcoin, so what I think would be weird is that if Bitcoin does go down a little bit more, maybe even to around this box, but Veracity somehow holds this trend line and just goes like this, then what the Bitcoin pair would do, this would actually go up, right? And so putting all these, like putting those two together, like the USD pair and Bitcoin or those three, like Bitcoin, the USD pair for Veracity, and the Bitcoin pair for Veracity, we could be in a scenario where we end up reclaiming this area while Bitcoin's going down because Veracity kind of just goes sideways. And then we actually deviated below it slightly, like from this pattern. And then we come back into it, and then we break up from it. So that's something I'm looking for. I don't really know if that's going to play out. Like, what could happen is that Bitcoin sinks, and then like Veracity just dumps down really hard too. Like, that could happen too. But it would be really interesting if we did do that because it would just be grinding the bottom of this. Bitcoin would be tanking. We actually wouldn't hit these levels. So we'll see what happens with Veracity. I think something's going to happen pretty soon because I think that the markets are just going to do something pretty soon in general. So I don't think we're going to have to wait too much longer. I do think later this year, at some point this year, like Veracity, in my opinion, is definitely getting above 1 cent. I think we'll see Veracity like honestly trying to go and hit these levels here, like this area here, this year, like in a couple of months. I don't even think it'll be like the later half of the year. I think it'll be like around the midpoint or like maybe like 2/3 of the way of the year. I don't really know exactly, but I am expecting us to attack this level at some point this year. And once we get up to those levels from where we are right now, that's a pretty big move. That's another like 300, 250% to like 474%. So, massive moves. Like this is like 4 or 5 X's. And this is like not even like the full bull, right? Because I am still expecting Veracity to definitely get to its all-time high. But I do think it'll surpass it. So, just coming up to this level isn't even really that close to it. It's only like halfway. So we'll see with Veracity. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.